Yeah, it didn't have that small town vibe to me. And I noticed and I'm gonna clarify. I'm a fan of diversity, not against diversity.
I'm not racist, but... Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We are your hosts. I'm Jay.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 25. This episode will discuss Hocus Pocus 2 as Jesus, get my shit. What the fuck? This whole month we'll be talking about Halloween movies. Other than episodes when we talk about House and the Dragon, it's October. Halloween movies galore. That's what we'll be
Let's
talking
get in the mood.
about. Yes.
I like it.
The falls. Leaves are changing.
That's right.
Shit's getting colder.
Yeah. Mood's changing. I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweater weather.
It is sweater weather.
Got all these white bitches drinking pumpkin spice lattes and wearing their Uggs.
Hey, I love
just like
me.
in 2002.
I love me some pumpkin spice lattes, though. You know it.
But yeah, this episode we'll be discussing Hocus Pocus 2, kicking off our Oktoberfest. Plus, we'll discuss the new Black Panther trailer, Wakanda Forever, and talk about the exciting news that was announced last week regarding the Deadpool 3 announcement. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can comment on episodes and write into our email with any questions or requests you may have at acastwithnoname.com. But first...
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, the trailer dropped, I think, this morning.
The newer one.
I was hard at work.
Yeah.
And it scrolled across my feed.
Getting work done?
I was getting work done.
Sure.
And I saw that it was released 1 hour ago. It was in the morning. And easing into the work day. And I was like, well, that's a good way to ease into it.
Right. You don't start work until like 9 anyway. 9:30.
I don't. I try and office space it a little bit to where any given solid week, I do a solid 10, 15 minutes of actual work.
Right.
So,
You space out for an hour.
A little bit. I just kind of stare at the wall, and I call it meditating. Other people call it sleeping. But
Right.
Tomato, tomato.
It looks like you're working.
It does.
Yeah.
I brush the keystrokes a little bit, so that way the IT team thinks I'm using my computer.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Right. You put your stand-up desk on, so you're standing there. Looking important.
Yep.
Getting stuff done.
Yep.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, what'd you think?
I thought it was a good trailer.
Yeah. I thought so too.
I enjoy good trailers, and I think that was a good one. I haven't seen the first Black Panther movie. I'll watch it before I watch Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked good. I thought the tone felt solid. I mean, it looked like an interesting film. How'd you like it before I get into?
Sure. I don't know who the villain is. I love a good villain. A movie really the success of it, if I like it really well, is if the villain's really good. Black Panther, the first one, the villain was okay. I hope this new villain is. I don't even know what the name of the villain is. It's like.
Is it Namor?
I think so.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
So yeah, the King of Atlantis.
I had no idea.
Oh wait, no. Is that Aquaman?
Aquaman? I have no idea.
Okay.
I think that's Aquaman.
Okay. The same character.
Doesn't matter.
DC, Marvel, whatever.
It's the same thing.
I think he's supposed to be the villain. I don't know, but obviously it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be a misunderstood
anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're going to probably team up for some random evil that's been lurking in the story. So would be my guess.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Because Namor is a hero. So I think.
Right. I'm sure something unjustified happened to his people that he's fighting for.
So
I thought he reminded me of Cupid a lot with the like fucking Cupid. Hermes. The god of love.
That took me out of it a little bit. It's you had this very serious melancholy tone throughout the whole trailer, and then you see this guy fluttering with the tiniest little ankle wings. And it took me off guard. I'm sure maybe he travels that way in the comic books, but some things don't translate well to screen. I thought the guy who played him in the bits where he was acting, I thought it was fine. But it's just that floating ankle wings.
Yeah, takes you off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but I'm a little concerned because just again the special effects nowadays they're just not special anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. So I hope the story's good. That can take me out of just looking at special effects the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it's like nothing's really. That's why I'm kind of worried about Avatar. I hope the story's good because I don't know how much more technically advanced you can get nowadays to make it seem special.
Yeah, obviously I hope the story's good as well.
Sure, yeah.
And usually I would say James Cameron provides a solid story. He's a good storyteller.
Yeah, he is.
But I'm hesitant because the first Avatar didn't really have that good of a story.
It wasn't groundbreaking.
No. And it was a paint-by-numbers kind of story. Obvious comparisons to Fern Gully and Dances with Wolves and those kinds of stories. So, yeah, I'm hesitant to say, the story's going to be good, but I'm hoping it'll be good considering it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back to where he said it was technological reasons, but hopefully it's because he realized
was working out the story.
He needed to get the story right.
Because the first one, it didn't really matter if the story was just mediocre because, I mean, it was
an
amazing experience in 3D. It was crazy. So one of those things that you remember.
Yeah, but I agree. I think Marvel needs to really double down, concentrate on story, and get that right because doing gimmicks like the Spider-Man Far From Home and just random over-the-top special effects is not gonna cut it.
No, not anymore.
In the long term.
And with everything being super saturated with the Disney series and just the storylines getting so convoluted that you don't know what's up and what's down.
Yeah, and a lot of people are starting to murmur in the background as far as Phase 4. Like, what the fuck? Like, where are we going? Like, let's get to the point, kind of a thing.
I'm sure Kevin Feige is in some meetings that he's not really happy to be at.
Yeah,
his board of directors is up his ass for sure.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully he has it all figured out.
Yeah.
And not just
but you were talking about gimmicks, which leads me to the next thing, Deadpool 3.
Yes.
Do you think that was a hard reach of, hey, Phase 4 is not doing too well. What's Hugh Jackman doing? Or do you think they actually have a story and it's going to be good? And
I saw an article. Someone had stated that Ryan Reynolds made a tweet, I think in 2019, maybe. It was a while ago. It was before, because he made a tweet, and it could have been Ryan Reynolds just being Ryan Reynolds, but he had stated that Deadpool 3 was going to be a road trip movie with Logan. And he said before Fox was bought out by Disney, Deadpool 3 was going to be a road trip movie with Logan.
Huh.
And the article also stated that the writer that Ryan Reynolds referenced in the tweet is the same writer that's credited for this film. So maybe they used that story. And I'm hoping that they had a story that supported it. And it's not just a gimmick to where, well, let's bring Wolverine back and that'll get ass and seats.
Right, and we'll figure out the story in a year when we start shooting. Yeah.
I also hope, I want to give Hugh Jackman credit to where I don't feel like he would come back and do something like that with a disservice. I mean, again, money is money.
Yeah.
But
you can get people to do anything.
I hope he was very proud, I feel like, of that send-off. Just from interviews that he did, amazing send-off, and that's the only kind of reservation I have with this, to where that was a good way to say goodbye to that character.
Oh yeah,
them bringing them back, gimmick aside, I hope they do it in a way that doesn't ruin Logan or undermine that film or something like that. I mean, the second announcement they did, they said it's going to take place before Logan.
Okay.
Which may or
kind
may
of
not
retconning it a little bit.
Yeah, may or may not be true. Maybe it's like an adventure that happened, but Deadpool also has a time machine.
Yeah. Well, it is the multiverse too, so they have that.
In the multiverse.
But I mean, I have reservations because I love Logan. That was my favorite movie that year. I was shocked about how good that was.
Yeah.
Even after, God, who directed that? What's his name? John Madden? Not John Madden. Damn, James something.
Yeah,
James
Ferrari, Ford versus Ferrari. James. God,
I'm gonna have to look it up.
We're movie experts.
I know. Well, I know he did Walk the Line.
James
Pride and
Mangold.
Glory. James Mangold. Thank you. Jesus. He did that stupid Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz movie, whatever that was called.
Night and Day.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I like that.
Ugh.
Oh,
No.
you don't like that?
No.
That was so good.
No.
It's just fun.
No. But because he did the Wolverine, and the Wolverine was okay. It wasn't anything special, and it was not only one-upped it. It was just one of the best superhero movies ever made, easily.
And
So-
speaking of Logan.
Logan, yes. The Wolverine, no. The Wolverine was kind of just a pedestrian, typical shit that you're used to. And then just Logan is... I mean, The Dark Knight's up there. Logan is definitely up there. I would have to, fight it out, which is my favorite superhero movie ever made. Logan's up there. So
Yeah.
I pray they do it justice.
Yeah.
And it's at least entertaining and funny and exciting, all that good stuff.
And the other thing, Ryan Reynolds is pretty conscientious about what he does, at least his marketing side of him. So
Yeah.
I think, I feel like those two and the writers and Kevin Feige and everybody involved, I don't think that they would want to spoil Logan or undermine it. At least I hope. But money rules all.
It
And
does.
the cynical side of me is no, they don't fucking care. They just want millions of dollars, which I
Right.
get it. But
Right.
I think the artist side of them, I feel like I hope it's something special.
Yep.
And it could just be a one-off multiverse thing.
Could be.
But
They had to do something because it's not going very well.
I do have
Get the fans
one.
excited.
I have one prediction that I
Okay.
think is going to happen.
All right.
Wolverine is finally going to wear the yellow and black tights or the brown and yellow tights from the 80s.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. It's like a joke or
Something.
something. It's gonna be a
Deadpool would
reference.
have handed to. He's like, "We got to suit up first," and
Yeah,
then he
yeah.
hands it to him. He's like, "I'm not wearing that." He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you are." "No, I'm not." "Yeah, you are."
Yeah.
"No, I'm not." And then the next shot will just be them sitting in a car and him wearing the
Yeah,
fucking. He's like, "I hate you."
Yeah. That'd be good.
But yeah,
I'll definitely see it.
yeah,
I mean, you got me.
yep,
Hook, line, and sinker.
yeah. It's great. He's great with marketing. Ryan Reynolds.
He is. He's got a gift.
Yep.
The man has a gift.
So, other thing we wanted to touch on, Bros came out last weekend, or this past
Weekend, yeah. You're a fan of romantic comedies, right?
I am. I do love a good rom-com.
Yep.
The
You're probably more so than I am.
yeah, and I'm because I asked you if you wanted to review this.
Yeah.
I think that was last week or
Yeah.
a week or two ago, because we both like Billy Eichner. Eichner.
Jesus, you don't even know his
I
name.
don't know anybody's name. I just remember faces.
Yeah. Well, and Nick Stoller directed it. I like Forgetting Sarah
Yes,
Marshall is
yeah.
one of my favorite comedies ever. So I like him. I like Neighbors. I mean, he's a pretty solid writer director.
Yeah, he
Have
knows.
you ever
how
seen Storks?
I have not.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Animated, family movie. Andy Samberg's the voice of the head stork.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll check it out at some point with the girls.
I'm sure the girls would love it.
wanting to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love romantic comedies. They've been non-existent almost for the past 10 years, with
Yeah.
the exception of Crazy Rich Asians,
Yep. Okay.
which I enjoyed. I thought that was fun. I liked Always Be My Maybe better.
Oh, yeah.
That was a Netflix movie. I think that's probably one of the better Netflix comedy movies I think that have come out. Actually, probably period. Just
What's her name?
Ali Wong
Ali Wong.
and
And it had the guy from. What's
Asian
that
Jim.
movie? Yeah, no. Yeah, Asian Jim.
he's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Shit. It's that movie with Seth Rogen
Something
and
Park.
they kill Kim. He plays Kim Jong Un in the
The interview.
the interview. Yeah. thank you.
But I like those movies. And those are the only two romantic comedies that have really come out that have gained any kind of marketing exposure or anything like that.
Well, not only romantic comedies. What's the last comedy that came out in theaters that was successful, or even came out. I was trying to. I think The Lost City that came out this year with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum was pretty good. Successful. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either.
But other than that, I can't think of anything. I mean, in 2021, I don't think anything came out.
Yeah, it's just been huge.
Even in
blockbusters.
2019, I don't even remember like a successful. Yeah, kind of been a desert.
Yeah. But anyways, I said that I wanted to watch this because it's the only romantic comedy that's been coming out ever since Always Be My Maybe or that was getting the kind of marketing exposure.
At least theater. Yeah,
in theater. And but it did not do well over the weekend, which I think several things can contribute to that.
Sure.
One, you touch on it because you touched on it before we started recording.
You don't release it on the same weekend as a horror movie that people are excited about, and don't release it during the month of October.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, unless you wanted
wait
to
till
kill
February.
It. Yeah.
January.
Yeah, February.
Right.
January, February. Granted, those are the months where movies go to die, but Deadpool, the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
Speaking like Matthew Berry. The Deadpool. That was released in February.
Yeah.
And did really, really well.
Sure.
Taken was released in January. Did really, really well. Granted, Bros is a different. It's not an action movie and it's not a action comedy. But
point being, you can release movies. And have them be
they can be successful, especially if it's a romantic comedy. I feel like it would have done better in February.
Oh yeah.
I would love to know what. I don't know what studio released Bros.
Universal.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck did they have coming out in February that they couldn't release this?
I have no idea.
But
they had all their attention on Jurassic World Dominion. That's all they cared about, Jay.
They're probably just moving up the releases to try and make their nut on.
I know,
because Dominion killed.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so it didn't do too well. Billy Eichner is taken to Twitter and yelling at everybody, I guess. But,
yep.
I get it. You're passionate. Not the way to get viewers.
No, definitely not.
Hopefully it has legs and the people that watched it say it's good. However, getting legs in October, again, you have Halloween Ends, which we'll be talking about. That comes out in a couple weeks.
Yep. Black Adam comes out.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
it's not that Black Adam is stiff competition, but people are in the mood to watch scary movies.
They are. Yeah, they want to be scared.
So, but
well, and another thing, I think romantic comedies are tailored for women. I mean, a majority of, that's your market.
Sure.
That's who your market.
That's your demographic.
Right. I mean, I don't think people didn't go see it because it was two gay guys.
Two dudes.
It was two dudes.
Two bros.
Right. A woman can't envision herself in that scenario.
Yeah.
So that
escapism. Yep.
Right. So that just it's like marketing I'm thinking like Rocky or just like a macho movie like with Sly Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, you know your audience there.
Mm-hmm.
Women aren't going to go clamoring to the theaters to go watch shit like that.
Like Star Wars.
Like, well,
like having your lead female just be perfect.
Right.
And,
right. Yeah.
Granted, I think little girls like that movie, but
yeah.
But no, I get what you're saying. You're putting the wrong. I mean, not that you can't have romantic comedies with two male homosexuals. It's more of it's tough because that demographic is usually targeting women.
Yeah,
and
the stars themselves. Like I know who Billy Eichner is, but not a lot of people know who he is. Honestly, he has that Billy on the Street show, but other than that, he's not. I mean, he was the voice of Timon in The Lion King.
He was in Parks and Rec for a little bit. He played Craig.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean, I love Billy Eichner. He's funny.
He's not a huge.
Yeah, he's just not
huge
a
draw.
Crazy name like, like Tom Cruise or Cameron Diaz or Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know who the actor is playing. Who that guy is that's playing the love interest. I have no idea who that.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
But I think the whole cast are gay or trans or what LGBT.
The alphabet. Yeah.
The alphabet. which is great. But yeah, did it miss the target demographic? I mean, who like typically, yeah, women do go see romantic comedies, but I don't know if that's unfair that they can't be, because I mean, how many homosexuals in the past have been going to see romantic comedies and putting themselves in the place of the woman, or in the male, or whatever. So I mean, it can happen. And,
yeah. Well, I read those tweets that he said that people didn't go see it because they're homophobic. So I did some numbers. There's 258 million adults, so there's 258 million people capable of seeing.
I think I know where you're going
this
with this
movie, right?
Yeah.
So I just divided $4.8 million by $9.17, which is the average ticket price. That comes out to 553,000 people.
Okay.
Right. 258 million people. I think 7% identify as LGBTQIA plus.
Yep.
Right. That is like 23 million people. Mm-hmm. So you take 500,000 divided by 23 million. It's like 2%.
Yeah.
So you would think that that community would flock to go see this movie, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So
and not that they have to either. So
no, I'm not saying that at all. But you can't. That you just said you can't say that.
You can't lay the blanket statement of
right.
Yeah, only this movie bombed because homophobic people didn't go see it, and it's like, well, I didn't go see it because I didn't have time.
Right.
I was helping my dad with cutting wood and shit with a tree that fell in his yard, and then I was taking care of my kids and everything else. Life gets in the way.
Which goes to show, if you market it and release it in February, hey, maybe you take your wife,
have a date
your
night.
girlfriend. Hey, you want to go see Bros? Have a date night?
Yeah.
You'll make time for it.
Yep.
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. And I think it's... I think he probably did that a little tongue in cheek, or he probably is not even serious about it, because any press is good press.
Sure.
He's like, okay, well, this weekend sucked. Maybe I can just like light a fire or just kind of create some controversy. However, you have a chance of that backfiring to where, I mean, if people take offense to a tweet, they got some bigger problems in their life. But
yeah, I mean that's all Twitter is.
It runs the risk of turning people off. But then again, if it turns somebody off, they probably weren't going to see the movie anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I'll probably just have to wait until streaming.
Right.
But no, I wanted to go to theaters with you and watch it.
Yeah, together we could hold hands.
We could have.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
I'm gonna go see Bros with my bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
The
no, it's not about brother-in-laws.
I went and saw Spanglish with Puff.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Awkward a little bit. But yeah, we were watching it, and we had no idea. It was an Adam Sandler movie. We had no idea it was going to be like a relationship drama, and all this other stuff. And but yeah, we were just sitting there. We were like, this is not the movie we expected to see. Marketing got us.
Yeah. I thought I was going to watch Happy Gilmore. Damn it.
Yeah. However, that did us watching it did create the term for us, fur burger, because right around the same time, we watched Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. But there's a scene in Spanglish to where he's making himself a sandwich, and he makes a fried egg, cuts it in half, and the yolk is running down the burger. Or he makes a burger, puts a fried egg on it, cuts it in half, and we're like, oh my God, that looks really good.
Yeah.
And then we watched Harold and Kumar. Then Neil Patrick Harris has a quick line of like, yeah, I'm craving burgers. Fur burgers. So for some reason, we just associated that burger with that, and because we were at a breakfast place or something, and one of our friends was like, "Jake, that sandwich that you order, what do you call that? You call that, what's that called, a fur burger?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Jimmy, ask the waitress that you want a fur burger. See how well that works out for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, that's not what it's called. It's just put a fried egg on a fucking hamburger."
Yeah, that would be awkward. Can I please have a fur burger?
Yeah.
That won't work out well.
But yeah, hopefully, I don't know when it'll come out to streaming. It's Universal, so probably have to be Amazon or HBO or something.
Yeah.
So.
You need to market it that it's funny. All the marketing was, it's the first gay romantic comedy.
Yeah.
You have to do something else.
Just do the story.
Market the story.
Concentrate on the story. Don't concentrate on an aspect of the story.
Right.
Get them by the humor. Get them by the story and the feels. Because as I recall, if I saw anything, it was marketed as the first theatrically released homosexual
Romantic
comedy. And it had some funny bits in it, but I mean, concentrate on the funny bits and just lay into people with that. I wonder if they could have done clever stuff with the marketing to where it just looks like best friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
They fucking bait and switch people when they get in the theaters. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it works in the past.
Works for Marvel.
That's right. Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
It's not a Doctor Strange movie. It's a Scarlet Witch movie.
But yeah, I hope it gets legs. I hope it does well.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll be
because
just fine.
I mean, if nothing else, Billy Eichner, Billy on Street is hilarious.
It's great. It's great.
He is like just his character that
he
does for himself.
He's got a personality on him.
So good. But yeah, so we will review it. We will watch it.
I'm sure we will.
Once it's more accessible.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
yeah.
To the main event.
The main event.
Hocus Pocus 2 came out 3 days ago.
Yep.
Disney Plus movie. Two young women accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters to modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking havoc on the world. Directed by Ann Fletcher, written by Jen D'Angelo, and starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy. Jesus Christ. God damn it. I even looked up, how do you say that name?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, Najimy.
Still didn't get it. Still
Whitney
fucked it
Peak. Know how to say that one.
There you go.
Belisa Escobedo and Lilia Buckingham, but also Sam Richardson, Tony Hale, and Doug Jones coming back as Billy Butcherson.
Doing Doug Jones things.
Yeah, so really quick, let's get some first impressions. Since it's still fairly new, we'll just talk about the movie in general, no spoilers, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So,
yep.
How'd you like it?
First impressions.
Yes.
I came in with low expectations.
Yes.
I'm happy to report.
Yes.
Those were met.
Good.
So I wasn't disappointed, Jay. That's great news.
So
how about you?
By your comment, I can't tell if you liked it or not, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
Okay.
I thought it stood on its own. It was different enough from the first movie that it didn't feel like it was rehashing the same movie. They had a couple of callbacks, but it wasn't so much to the point of they're just redoing the first movie, which was good. I thought they brought a couple new a couple new aspects to the characters for the three witches. The new characters that they had in, I thought did great. I thought Tony Hale.
Love Tony Hale, don't you?
He's
good.
As soon as he showed up, I was like, I didn't know Buster was in this.
Nah.
Sam Richardson, I thought was great.
Who did he play?
He played Gilbert, the
store owner.
The store owner. And Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy.
Yeah.
Najimy. Jimmy.
Naina Najad. It's not hard to say.
Not going to be working here anymore. I thought they had a great time making this, and it showed.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they were phoning it in. I thought there's a little song number in the middle, which was great. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it's not a masterpiece by any means, but I thought it was enjoyable. Does it have the rewatchability?
Yeah, that's a word.
As the first one? I don't know, and I can't answer that because I've seen the first one so many times just because I was at that age.
Yeah, it's nostalgia for you.
We saw it in school.
Yeah.
We saw it on TV a lot.
We saw it on ABC Family every October.
Yep.
3
Christy
times.
and I watch it every Halloween anyways. Yeah. And because... Yeah. So I don't know if it has that rewatchability, but I don't even know if the first one really does either. Because I watched it when I was a kid. So I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses and through nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be this movie's biggest problem, is a lot of people are going to be expecting to feel like a kid watching this again. And, well, you're probably not.
Yeah, no.
But I thought it worked well. I thought the things they set up in the movie paid off later on. So it wasn't just random stuff in the movie just for comedic sake or anything like that. A lot of the elements they put in there paid off story-wise later on in the movie, which I thought was good. Overall, I thought it was solid. I think it's one of the better Disney Plus movies that Disney has put out.
Is that a compliment or?
It's yes. So as far as the worst movies that have come out, this is one of the better ones.
Okay,
but no, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a solid movie. It's fun. You can watch it with your family and all that.
Okay.
I think it's all right.
All right.
So I would recommend it.
It went above your expectations because you said you came in with low expectations.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be dog shit, and so I would recommend it. If you're a fan of the first one, watch this one. But it's not going to be. You're not going to be transported to when you were 10.
No,
it's just not going to happen.
No.
Very few things can do that, especially when they're made 30 years after. Cobra Kai can do that.
Yeah. Right.
But they also have 5 seasons to where they've been setting that up and not doing it within 2 hours.
Right.
But I recommend it. Do you recommend it?
If you've seen the first one, yes. But then after that, no.
No.
No. Let me start with the positives. I just don't.
Let's just get into spoilers. So,
okay. Yeah.
Go see it. Matt says you could probably miss it. He hates women starring in movies anyway.
You could probably miss it, and you'd be just fine if you watched the first one 1,000 times over.
Yeah, it's not a must see.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable. If you like the first movie,
Yeah.
you'll possibly like this one. But
right.
But don't think it's going to blow your mind and everything else.
No.
I wasn't. We can go into spoilers and
Yeah.
and I'll touch on how the first Hocus Pocus is not Citizen Kane anyways. So
It's not Citizen Kane, no.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to jump all over Hocus Pocus 2 and do the easy thing, like, just shit all over it. That's not what I want to do. I came in with low expectations. It didn't blow me away, so I wasn't disappointed at the end of it or anything, but I have some gripes with it.
Yeah.
That's more a referendum on just current storytelling that I don't understand anymore.
Okay.
But let's go with positives. I thought Bette Midler jumped right back into it, and she was awesome.
Yep.
She was great. I disagree with you. I didn't think Kathy and Jimmy and Sarah Jessica Parker were that great.
Well,
they phoned it in more times than often.
this is one of my nitpicks with it. I don't feel like they had a lot to do.
Yeah.
I think it
That's
was more.
true, they didn't.
It was more Winifred's story,
Yes, it was.
and I noticed that watching the movie. I'm like, they're not really doing a whole lot. But I was like, because it took when all 3 of them showed up, it was like a good 30 seconds, I think, before Sarah Jessica Sarah's character spoke.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. And
Yep.
But I mean, looking back on it, is kind of more Bette Midler's story. But I agree with you. I think it's just because they didn't have a lot to do.
Right. Well, I have in my notes here that the only character that had an arc in this movie was Winifred. It was her movie for the most part.
Yep.
But Bette Midler was great. I was shocked. I mean, she definitely, they looked older, but after a while, I just didn't even notice it anymore. She was really good. I thought the production design looked great, especially the earlier settler scenes. I thought that looked really good.
Yeah.
Like just the village they had, the whole setup. The lighting and everything was great in the town. It looked like a nice,
Production values were
yeah,
there.
it was good.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought there were some pretty good lines. I thought the line where he was telling the story, what's his name? The keeper, the store
Gilbert?
owner, Gilbert.
Yep.
Was telling the story of the black flame candle lit by a virgin, and then the kid goes, "What's a virgin?"
It's
a person who can't light candles.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had good lines like that in it. They were enjoyable. But negatives, like I gotta say it. Why aren't villains allowed to be villains anymore?
See, I think they handled that pretty well because I thought
I disagree.
When Gilbert said, "Why are you trying to bring him back?" Like, who was it? Becca, one of the other main characters, said, "Why are you trying to bring the Sanderson sisters back, or why'd you want to bring them back?" Well, because they were misunderstood. They're not evil. They were forced to be evil, kind of a thing. And I thought the movie was just going to take that direction, as far as, oh God, they're going to make them into good characters or something like that. But I don't think they did that. And because once they came back, and Gilbert was then forced to gather all these different things for the Magica Maxim, whatever spell. He was forced to do that, or else he was going to die. And I think at that point he realized, oh, okay, I kind of messed up.
Sure.
I mean, they didn't blatantly say that, but I thought they were going to, when Gilbert said, oh, they're just misunderstood, and blah, I thought they were going to do that whole thing to where the villain's no longer the villain anymore, but they didn't, because they were still going to destroy the town. They were still going to do those things once that spell was completed. And it just, I just don't think they went as far as what other movies have typically done. Because they could have made them into more empathetic characters than what they are. But I don't feel like they cross that line, because they're enjoyable, because they're nasty, because they're fish out of water and stuff like that. But I don't think they watered them down at all, because they still wanted to kill. They still wanted to destroy the town. They still wanted to do all those things, and they still wanted ultimate power. I think the only difference that they did was when Winifred lost her sisters, that was her line, to where she cared more about that than getting her power. Which I don't know if they set that up. I mean, obviously it wasn't set up in the first movie because they didn't know they were going to do a sequel, but I think it touched on those points pretty well throughout, because you had a scene where Sarah Sanderson kind of claps back at Bette Midler's character saying, I'm not stupid.
Yeah. I
have purpose, and kind of standing up to her sister. So you had a little bit of scene like that. So I don't feel like they made them good. I think you just understood them a little bit better. Hence the opening scene with young Winifred and the young sisters, to where that was her, her thing. I can elaborate more on that stuff as far as that whole book and them getting the book and how that played. But.
And I don't think they made him good, but they made you have sympathy for him. Which, why? I knew that's the way they were going to with the opening scene with Winifred, and they're misunderstood. And by the way, where are the parents at? There's three girls living in a cabin by themselves.
I think they're dead.
Did they mention that?
They made
I
it
didn't
quick,
even pick up on it.
I think young Winifred said something like, "Oh, the pastor Pritchett betrothed me because my father's gone."
Oh, I missed it. All right. Well, anyway. So anyway, when that was going on, I'm like, okay, they're setting up something here where you need to have sympathy for the villain, which the first one didn't have that. And I miss movies that I don't want to sympathize with the villain, because you did at the end of this movie. Because don't
a little bit.
Don't let her. She needs to be with her sisters.
Man, you're just fucking heartless.
Well, it's stupid. They literally murder a child in the first movie.
No, I
they
know.
kill the kid.
Yep.
Why and why?
Yeah.
And they want to kill everyone in the town. Yeah. It's okay for villains to be villains, right?
And they still are villains, because then you have the whole thing with Billy saying, he's like, no, we weren't lovers. We shared one kiss, and she will not shut up about it.
Right.
It's like, so they had that, like, they still had, I mean, I think you needed that at some point, because the target demographic, I feel, people in our age group, that's what they were going to relate to. More so. You can't, you wouldn't have like a 35-year-old adult trying to, like, take out these witches or whatever. It'd just be weird.
And that's another gripe. I would have had a different story altogether.
Yeah?
Yes. Like, I wouldn't just shit all over it, just to shit all over it. This is how I would make it better, kind of thing. But that's the main gripe I had with it. Like, I don't want to sympathize. It's okay for villains to be villains. No sympathy. Like, their whole purpose is to come back and strike revenge on Salem, and then you have characters try to figure out how to stop them. End of story. That's the only story you need to have. You don't need to have these stupid anti-hero, misunderstood villain arcs.
Yeah, she's not an anti-hero.
Disney's been doing that. I mean, with that stupid Cruella movie, like, you ruin one of the best villains of all time, Cruella de Vil, by giving her a stupid anti-hero, misunderstood backstory. It's like, just let villains be like. The next thing's gonna be an Ursula, like live action prequel.
Like Dahmer.
Yeah, like Dahmer. Yes. Perfect example. Like I don't want to sympathize with villains like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I like the Joker so much. From The Dark Knight, there's no backstory. He's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason,
Chaotic
no rhyme.
Yep.
It is what it is. It makes it more compelling. Anyway, that's my main gripe.
Yeah, and I would say I would probably have to disagree because my feelings toward the Sanderson sisters really didn't change.
Okay.
Because it's not that I felt, I guess I felt empathetic and empathy, not so much sympathy for the character. Because Bette Midler losing her sisters, that's the ultimate sacrifice, which that's what happened to the witch that gave her the book in the first place. Because that's why she took, because where's your coven? And she's like, they're gone. Because she probably just did the magic spell because her eyes were green or whatever, and then Bette Midler's eyes turned green. So she warned her, and it wasn't feeling sorry for the characters, just kind of showing empathy, and that I think is what worked, because as an adult you can look at that and you can kind of relate to it. Yeah, they don't deserve to come back. They don't deserve to live. And I think they ended it properly to where, no, your sisters aren't coming back to life. You're just joining them to where you're going away now too. So she ended up getting, that power, but now she doesn't get to live. So it's kind of like, it's a tragedy from her standpoint, but it didn't make me feel any kind of, oh, poor sisters kind of a thing. It was just more of, I understood how she felt and her sense of loss, and I understand that, but it wasn't so much to where I felt like that they were turned into her anti-hero or we were supposed to feel bad for her.
Right. Well, so she would have been okay with it if her sisters were there. She would have destroyed everyone in Salem.
Yep. Absolutely. And
so why give her the reward of joining her sisters in the afterlife and being happy?
Because if they didn't, Winifred would still be in Salem. And she would have just demolished everything.
So in the end, she gets what she wants either way.
No, she doesn't.
She can destroy Salem with her sisters, or she can just not destroy Salem and be with her sisters.
She ended up where she was at the beginning.
She gets to just kill kids, Jay.
Which, this is America, damn it. If you want, but no, I mean, I don't think she got what she wanted. What she wanted was to come back, be alive, destroy Salem. She got none of those things. Or she also wanted to be all-powerful. Mm-hmm. She got none of those things. The only thing she got is what she had in the beginning, which was being with her sisters.
Poor Winifred.
Yeah, poor Winifred.
She deserves much worse.
But
killing kids.
I can see where you're coming from as far as, making villains into likable characters. But they were already kind of likable in the first movie, so I kind of just threw that off. I think they could have done this way worse. To where there could have been a god-awful scene to where something more evil creeps up, and then the Winifred sisters protect everybody. I would have threw up and took a shit on my own floor if that happened.
Well, I don't want you to do that.
But no, I will.
I will do it. I'm serious.
I would do it.
I will make you clean it up. Yeah. Okay. The kid actors, I disagree with you. I didn't think they were that great.
No, I don't think they were that great either.
You thought Gilbert was good. Sorry.
Yeah, Gilbert, Tony Hale. I like.
Okay,
I think
you
Sam
like
Richardson,
the actual actors.
Yeah.
The actual actors, the real actors in the movie. Okay, yeah.
Not random people they pulled off the lot.
The Disney actors.
Yeah.
The kids in the first movie were far and above better actors. It's crazy how much better they are. They seem real in the first one, real.
Yep.
Like how they react to things and how they converse with each other and with adults. They seem like real people.
Yeah.
Like the kids in this don't seem like real people. They overreact and they do the Disney acting, and it's a little much. I was getting tired of it after a while.
I would agree with you on that. I would say that, the person I enjoyed watching most was probably Sam Richardson as Gilbert.
He was good. I mean, I thought he was good.
But yeah, the kids, It was a bland
They
part.
did in their defense. They didn't have much to do.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't have much to do. I didn't like. Again, there was no story on how she had those magical powers. She just happened to have them.
Yeah.
Again, it goes to the point they didn't have much to do. They didn't really develop that story all that much. So let's just have them have powers.
They'll develop it in
Yes.
the TV show.
That's right. Yeah, they'll do a prequel of it.
That's
So I didn't stay to watch the end credit scenes, like the stingers. I didn't see it. Did you?
I did not.
Okay, well, I thought
We
you did.
watched them. We watched the scenes of Bette Midler singing in the recording studio.
Oh, okay.
During the closing credits, and then after that ended, we turned it off.
Apparently, there was two. I didn't see.
Yeah,
see the,
there's apparently a post credit scene to where it has the black cat standing next to the book or something like that, kind of alluding to where maybe there's a third sequel, whether it be a movie or a TV show.
That's another thing, Jay. They even made the fucking book good. The book has a conscience now.
The book.
Why?
Which actually,
Why?
the book, one of the best acting in this movie.
In the movie, yeah, better than the kids. Yeah.
I mean, considering all the book had was an eyeball, I thought they did a great job
that effect was
conveying
good.
emotion with the single eyeball in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
book. Now, I think they just gave the book an opinion because
Oh
the
my
book,
god.
the book
So
cared
dumb.
for the Sanders or cared for Winifred.
And then right. So the book is just as evil, right? It's even made out of what the fat of a hangman or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, it was like skin of a
Yeah,
dead
right.
something.
Right. It's an evil book. It's got evil shit in it. But now it's got a heart of gold. Stop it.
It doesn't have a heart of gold.
It betrayed Winifred. Went to the nice witch at the end.
What was the reason for that? I think because he didn't want Winifred to do the spell because he cared about Winifred so much. He didn't want her to lose her. He knew what the outcome was going to be.
My God.
Evil people can't have feelings towards each other.
No, a book can't. It's a fucking book. It's an evil book. Jesus. Well. Oh, all the guys in the movie were buffoons except for Gilbert. Would that girl actually date that dumbass?
See, I thought about that, and I don't know. I probably.
I don't buy it.
I do.
I don't buy it.
Oh, you should have gone to my high school.
Well, your high school's full of
just
special
dummies.
people.
I thought about. I was like, how could someone be so dumb? But then I thought back to what was it? Ice was it Ernie and
Ernie
the
and
other
Ice.
kid. Those two dumb fucks in the
Yeah.
first movie. I was like, yeah,
The girls weren't hanging out with them.
true.
Right. A bunch of fucking dumbass kids hanging out with each other. All guys, of course. That makes sense to me. Yes.
Yeah, he seemed really stupid.
Unbelievably dumb.
But Tony Hale, I don't feel like was a buffoon. I felt it was more of he's just kind of like a simple guy.
Yeah, well, that's his character. I
Yeah.
mean, that's fine. That's his character. I mean, Billy Butcherson, too, just kind of like a loofy, goofy character.
Yeah. Which they brought Doug Jones back for his
Yeah, he was good.
He's like 61 or something.
He's like 80. The guy just still does it.
But he still looks the same. Like
I
he
know.
hasn't aged in like 4
Well,
years.
he
He's got that Sean Connery blood.
yeah. He's got that Tom Cruise blood.
But I thought it was nice they brought back Doug Jones.
Yeah, that was nice.
Him and the Sanderson sisters were the only returning characters. They had a quick
Yeah.
little scene to where you had the couple sitting on the couch watching the first
movie.
having Penny Marshall and Gary Marshall. Just
Yeah.
a little quick thing for them.
Yeah. Dedication.
But kind of going back on, Sam Richardson was a standout. The writing I thought was pretty good. Most elements introduced paid off later, like the Roombas.
Yeah, that did pay off.
Because when they were trapped in the salt circle, I was like, they're probably going to bewitch someone, and that's going to be a plot hole because it's supposed to block dark magic.
Right,
but then the Roombas came. I was like, all right, that works.
Yeah.
And they set that up properly, and it paid off. A lot of those story beats, I felt, did that. The same thing with giving the book to the younger sisters at the very beginning of the movie. They don't explicitly come out and say everything. That's one thing. Another thing I liked about this movie is they didn't do the downfall of a lot of current comedies now, which is they over-explain the joke. And not that the book giving to the sisters was a joke. It was just more of, by the end of the movie, oh, that's what happened to the first witch. She lost her coven because she did the spell. Same thing happened to Winifred.
They had some good jokes in it.
But they set it up. One of my favorite was when they were eating the lotion and all that shit, and then they take a selfie with one of the girls, and they use a filter, and it makes them look younger.
Yes, yeah.
But they didn't say, oh, it was they referenced like, oh, the little box lied. That's all they said. It wasn't like, oh, a filter made you look young. Like,
right.
Anyone else would have explained that. But I felt like those story beats kind of paid off, and I felt like they weren't over-explaining everything, which I thought was nice. And I expected that to happen a lot.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I'll grant you that. So shout out to Jason here. I did not notice a lot of social media gags, honestly, in the movie.
Yeah.
There wasn't really that many.
Yeah, it was just...
Was there any?
I
don't think there was.
It was just the selfie, I think, was the only current thing.
I was with Jason. I for sure thought there'd be like 2 or 3 jokes about that. But no, didn't happen.
Nope. Yeah, I haven't. Well, yeah, we already touched on that. I was like, I thought we were going to turn the witches into heroes, but they didn't. I don't think they did.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
You at least had empathy for him.
Sure.
Why? Why?
They're human.
Have some balls.
They can't. They're women.
So yeah, I just watched. I segue Dahmer. Hocus Pocus 2 to Dahmer. That's the same. That show was good, but it had the same flaw to me. Like they were trying to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer. Like.
And explain the reasoning.
Oh my God. He did some of the worst shit in the world. I don't care.
Yeah, my parents had watched that and they were telling like, oh yeah, his childhood was messed up. I was like, no shit. You had to watch a miniseries for that? Obviously you didn't have an idea. Yeah, granted, there are just some people that are born psychopaths that come from a good home and just something's off.
Yeah.
And then, but most of the time, something horrible happened to that person to make them into a monster.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I don't need to see that. I don't.
It's a nice little.
I get it.
Lovely romp with the wife.
Yeah,
you watch
like,
together.
Oh, he had a rough childhood.
Yeah,
but he still murdered.
Lots of people have rough childhoods.
Lots of people and ate them and raped them and I'm like,
yeah, it's lighthearted, Jay. Yeah, lighthearted entertainment. But back to Hocus Pocus 2.
Back to Hocus.
I digress.
2.
Worst segue ever. One thing I thought was pretty silly in the movie was I didn't know that this movie took place on the campus of UCLA.
So that took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Her bicycling into the schoolyard, I was like, that looks like a college. Yeah. That doesn't look like
high school.
A high school in
Salem,
New England.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, where it snows like 4 fucking feet in July.
Yeah.
And that took me out a little bit. And when they went up on their brooms and you had that massive city, I don't know how big Salem is.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should have picked because they didn't film, I think the first movie was filmed in Salem.
I think so.
And here it was filmed in like Providence, Rhode Island or whatever. I'm assuming a larger city. It didn't have that quaint small town feel that the first movie did. That's a nitpick of mine to where I feel like they should have picked a setting that kind of matched the original movie, because that's one of the aspects and it's just a small thing. It's one of the things I liked about the original. I like movies that take place in those smallish kind of towns, like The Frighteners was shot in New Zealand, but it just felt like it took place in Maine, but it was shot in New Zealand, and it felt like just a small Maine town. I like those small town movies where something happens because you can easily...
Or like Casper.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Something like Casper, like that. But that's more of a nitpick of mine. To where once they were up in the air, I was like, it's a pretty big fucking city. Yeah. I was like, Jesus, how much did it grow in 30 years? Which I'm sure Salem did, but... not to that extent. It felt like, because it felt like Salem in the first movie, because the setting is kind of a character. it felt like that was like a 5-street town, maybe.
Yeah.
And or any other kind of typical small Midwestern town. Just like you have that one main street, couple of side roads, but that's about it.
Right.
So I felt like the setting was a little too large.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it didn't have that small town vibe to me. And I noticed just, and I'm gonna clarify. I'm a fan of diversity, not against diversity.
I'm not racist, but
but I was starting to notice things because I wasn't that into the story at the time, so I was just looking around. And so I used to live in Connecticut. I've been to Massachusetts a lot. I've been to small towns in Massachusetts. It's nothing but white people, just jam packed with white people.
why don't you let Hispanic and
I don't know.
black people into Connecticut?
Listen.
Did you guys have meetings about that?
Yes.
And just
Yes, but it's like so diverse, which is fine, but it's not Salem, Massachusetts. And then you have drag queens, a transgender patron or whatever. You have the gay couple watching a movie. X, Y, everybody's represented, which is fine, but it's not Salem, Massachusetts, which is another gripe of mine. Just have it take place in a different location, or God forbid, just use your imagination to make up a place. Something.
you can't do that with a sequel though, because the first one took place in Salem,
which is
so.
this goes back to my other point. This is what I would have done to make it better.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need a backstory for the Sanderson sisters, right? We understood their motivations at the end of the first movie. I understand their backstory. They're child murderers, Jay.
Yep.
Lighthearted child murderers.
They're the fun child murderers.
But like Cobra Kai or Top Gun, have Max and Danny in the movie. Have them have kids. And somehow, some way, come on, stay with me here. Somehow, some way, they find out about Max and Danny's story. I'm sure there was newspaper clippings, or you can search the internet, you could Google, whatever the case may be, about the events that happened in Salem, Massachusetts. Maybe they live in Oregon or California, or pick a place where they don't live in Salem anymore. And then their kids dig up like what happened to them, and I don't know. I don't know how they come to the point of resurrecting the Sanderson sisters, but they resurrect the Sanderson sisters, and they go off on an adventure again to try to stop them. You fill in the blanks from that, but I would enjoy that premise more than what we got. That way they can be villains. They're just ruthless villains. They want to suck the lives out of little children, Jay. You have some nice comedy in there. They get into hijinks, all that good stuff. You're not liking it? That's not a good idea.
That was one of the things that I enjoyed, because was them not being older and having kids of their own.
Okay.
But with your story, it reminded me of something. What happened to the book at the end of the first movie?
It was just it stayed in the shop. It was just in the
Just stayed in the shop?
Yeah, it was just in the little hut or whatever, because it was on the table when they were brewing the potion, and they just left it there when they went to the graveyard and in the finale and all that stuff.
Okay, so they didn't say...
No.
Okay.
Actually, the movie ended with the book opening its eye. It's the last shot of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
They could have had something like that, to where Danny or Max take the book for safekeeping, and then one of their kids finds it in the attic.
There you go.
And does a spell, and it resurrects.
Whatever.
Kind of a thing.
Something like that.
So that, I think, could possibly work. I wouldn't want the adults. I don't know. It's hard.
I mean, God forbid you have actors like Omri Katz and Thora Birch who actually know what they're doing. God forbid.
The Thora Birch could be in it, because I think she's like Omri Katz. I don't think he's really been in anything since he was a kid.
Well, neither was Short Round. Look what he did.
Yeah, but he was
took like
he
a
was
20-year break.
He was still in the movie industry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm
not saying it would be good. I would just enjoy that story
and I think
more.
a lot of people wanted that.
Yeah.
I think they wanted the younger characters to be adults now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the reason why this movie's getting hate. Also, because obviously it's not going to live up to their expectations when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought...
I don't hate the movie.
No, I know. But apparently there's a shit... Like, I mean, the reviews that people write, it's like 1 star.
Right.
And I'm like, calm the fuck down. Like, there's... there's very few movies that deserve 1 star.
Yeah.
I've seen one of them, and I had to turn it off 20 minutes. The Apple.
The Apple.
Yeah,
Is this like an old movie?
it's like from the 70s. It's
Wow, you turned it off.
it's.
It's not good. Is it like a horror movie?
No, I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's
I
like
turned it off.
abstract?
It's like it's some weird. It's supposed to have like religious undertones, but it's like very disco. And it starts off with like this 10-minute fucking montage of all these people going to this arena for a concert or something, and it's just fucking weird.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah, but. So there's very few movies that deserve 1 star, but you have all these people, blah, 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 it's dog shit and everything. And I'm like, there's some bad movies, but very few movies are dog shit. So, but
I've seen way worse movies this year, to be fair.
Yeah. And so I think that's, might be getting some more flack. Obviously, you're going to have a couple of trolls just 1 starring it because it didn't make them feel like they were 10 again. But
yeah.
I mean,
no, I didn't hate the movie. I just thought it could have been better.
Yeah.
Doing a couple little things. And
I
I hate the fact that villains can't be villains anymore. I disagree with you. They try to empathy. Why? I don't get it. Even the fucking book. Why?
I thought because Thora Birch, I think, had a scheduling conflict. She couldn't be a part of this.
Okay.
Omri Katz, I don't even think he's acting or in the business anymore.
Yeah.
The other chick, Allison.
Vanessa Shaw?
Yeah, Vanessa Shaw. Last thing I think I saw her in was like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I saw her in 40 Days and 40 Nights. Remember that movie with Josh Hartnett?
Oh, was she in that?
He stopped spanking it for 40 Days and 40 Nights?
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays the girl that forced him to...
Okay, then that's the last thing that I saw her in.
And there you go. I think she's married to some like Italian like real estate mogul or something, so she doesn't need to act anymore.
So I thought with what they had, like pretty much creating a new story from scratch, I thought they did pretty well, and it could have turned out a lot worse. And I think this was I think it was a decent outing.
Okay, fair enough.
One of my favorite shot in this movie, it was after they got out of the Ring of Salt, and they were talking to Captain Dumbass, the boyfriend. I think it was during that point, and they said something, but all of a sudden it was just like you see one of the witches come and snatch up who's that character, the Cassie, snatches up Cassie and just like takes her off into the air.
Yeah,
those 2 quick shots and the way they were done, I dug that a lot. I was like, oh, that was kind of like fucking spooky a little bit, and I like that. That was one thing, because when I was watching it last night, that stood out to me.
It didn't have a lot of spooky moments.
It didn't, but
the first one had a couple, especially the scene where they break into the house after they think they defeated him. That whole sequence is kind of creepy with the music and stuff, because my boys, when that scene comes on, they get a little, especially when Sarah Jessica Parker's under the covers, and she's like, that's, it's
that's one thing this movie didn't have, was little jump scares. Because Hocus Pocus, they had when Danny jumps out of the closet to scare Max when he's making out with his pillow, and then Sarah Jessica Parker coming out of the bed, and then but you had tiny jump scares like that, the cat jumping down when they're in the shop and stuff like that. So that I think is probably something that's missing. I feel like there wasn't many jump scares in this.
And I'll say this: Bette Midler, she was great. Mm-hmm. She still has it. She's still good. I'll give it to her.
I like that music number they did.
One way or another?
Yeah.
You a fan? Do you
and
jam it out in the shower?
They had the little thriller dance sequence down the... That was another thing that I loved.
Yeah.
That she mind controls them. Go find the mayor. And they're like, they're like, move a little faster. And they're like, and then they finally find the mayor. And they're like, they close in on him. They're like, and then they touch him. And then they all snap out of it. They're like, hell am I doing?
Yeah, doesn't he say, am I in a flash mob? Oh, I've always wanted to be in a flash mob. Yeah.
But as soon as they find the mayor, then they just snap out of it. And they're like, the hell happened?
Yeah, what happened?
And then they just go off. That's why it wouldn't be news articles. Because the first movie, the whole town, all the adults in the town were under a spell. Once they got out of the spell, they didn't know what happened. Same thing with the kids that were under hypnosis when they were being called.
Well, then you have your book idea that you were talking about. There you go.
Yep. It could have been
Yeah. Telling you,
maybe.
would have been a better idea. That's
But
what I would have pitched.
I don't think this movie was dog shit like you do. So I'll just
I said that it met my expectations, Jay. All right, can that not be enough?
but I enjoyed it. I thought the visuals were good. Production value you touched on.
It was.
I liked them.
Production values were great.
It still kind of had that feel, like the look. It still had Hocus Pocus look, but it was updated.
Yeah.
So I mean, you still had the muted colors in the flashback, but
Yeah.
I like the purples and the yellows.
By the way, did they have arranged marriages back in colonial times?
Oh, I'm sure they have arranged marriages now.
Well,
I'm sure they had arranged marriages.
I just wasn't sure.
They've had them for centuries.
It's not like they're royalty or anything.
No, but I'm sure it was a thing.
No. Didn't know.
Yeah. Are there arranged marriages
Yeah.
back then? Were you guys alive in the 1600s? Let us know.
Yes,
Write to our
please.
email,
Yeah.
castwithnoname.com.
We could probably Google it, but that's just a lot of work.
That's too much work. Any closing thoughts on Hocus Pocus?
I would recommend it just to watch Bette Midler. There you go. I'll say that. If you're gonna watch it for anything else, then don't watch it. But if you're a Bette Midler fan, you'll like it. If you're a Hocus Pocus fan, I can't say that you'll like it.
But
I can't say it, Jay. I think more people than not won't. They won't like it more than the first one.
oh, I don't think they will either.
Yeah.
And I don't like it more than the first one, but I think for what it had to do, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, okay, I'll say this: you have to go in expecting it not to be better than the first one, and maybe you'll like it.
Yeah. Which you should go into any movie with very low expectations.
Yeah.
Because once you become a fan of something, that's the death sentence. That's when you're just never happy.
Yeah.
Because you get things like The
Well,
Last Jedi and
Right.
Spectre and
You really don't expect her.
fucking piece of shit. That's a fucking 1 star. No.
Yeah. That's a 1-star piece of shit. I still haven't seen No Time to Die.
I don't want to get too much into this, but
Yeah, well, we can do a James Bond episode.
we can. But
Yeah.
No Time to Die makes Spectre a better movie. Just like a lot of people don't like Quantum of Solace. Casino Royale and then immediately watching Quantum of Solace makes Quantum of Solace a better movie. You watch
Okay.
Quantum of Solace by itself, sucks. You watch Spectre by itself, sucks. If you watch it with No Time to Die back to back, it makes it a little bit better. It still sucks, but it doesn't suck as hard. So it's kind of like an amateur suck.
It's like a polished turd.
Oh,
It's still a turd, but it looks better.
it's like a smoothed out turd.
Okay.
I wouldn't say polished, but it's
Okay.
kind of like the corn's taken out. It's kind of smoothed over.
Okay.
Um,
Ugh.
but
Nasty.
but yeah, No Time to Die makes Spectre more bearable. But Spectre did some unforgivable things. But more on that at a later
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so you recommend it?
I recommend it. I think it's fun. Is it as good as the first one? The production value is better than the first one. I think the first one is more fun. But I think for what they had to work with, and considering this was kind of created because Bette Midler figured out that there was a huge following for this movie, and I thought it was decent.
Okay. You're being very nice.
I thought it was good.
You're a gentleman.
Yeah.
You really are.
Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. I just don't think it has a rewatchability.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll watch it again when the girls get older, and they start getting into live action films, and maybe my opinion will change if knowing what to expect in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it lags in some places or if the pacing is off and
Right.
stuff like that. So, but other than, the beginning portion kind of felt a little slow. But as the movie progressed, I was like, okay, all right. I was starting to get more into it. And then, but yeah.
Okay.
So, it's all right.
Fair enough.
B minus.
B minus?
Yeah. Above average.
I'll give it a C.
Yeah.
Average.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, join us next time
Yes.
as we discuss House of the Dragon episode 6 and 7. Comment on our episodes, write to our email if you want. If not, we don't give a fuck.
But we do.
We do. We
Please.
cry
Every night.
every night, whether you comment or not. So
Yeah, I know.
the tears come regardless. Tears are free.
Yes.
But yeah, next episode, House of Dragon, episode 6 and 7. And then the episode after that, we will continue our Halloween themed. You will find out at the end of the next episode. What
That's
we'll
right.
be talking about then. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Until next time, Jay.
until next time, man.